Oh, okay, brilliant. Sorry.
I am here, everyone. My
Great.
apologies. It was a bit scary. Whoa, there you go. Camera. He comes back. Yeah, there you go. Should we call it? Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's bouncing all around the room. Hey, there you go. Can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. Let's turn you all up. Sound-wise. That was a bit scary. No internet. That's always interesting with Zoom.
Oh.
Yeah, there was no internet. There was no nothing really. That was 10 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm a little bit warm, running around. So how many people we got? We've got quite a few. Right, Katie, you on? Katie, you're in the room.
I am, yes.
Have you explained to the team, everybody, what's going on?
No, we were just talking about whether we're all on the right call. So
We were. So I've got a mosquito about to bite me as well. They'll get me back if I don't give good tips. Right, everyone. So I've just explained to Katie before the call that, I nearly didn't get on, which is a bit scary. What I thought I'd do, you were all meant to do your homework. I'm sure you all have. Watching everyone, Naomi, just checking you've done your homework. That's it. But joking aside, 10 tips. So what I thought I could do is just scooch through each of them. At one stage, we're going to do all 10 at once. And then actually Katie said, well, look, why don't, some people want a bit more information about one or two. So we'll start off in order, as it were. And as we go a specific point that you will come back to, and then you can jot down your questions, maybe for later in the session, if it's a specific one and things like that. So to give you an idea, the first one we're going to focus on in a moment, and we'll share the screen, is about having a powerful headline. So if I maximize that, boom, let's go. F5, let's do share screen. Let's share the LinkedIn workshop. Let's see what you guys see. Now, what do you see? Do you see that screen? Yeah, love it. Yeah. Has it got all horrible background stuff on it?
No, it's just got it's not a slideshow. It's just
the slide.
Yeah.
Excellent news. Right. So having a powerful headline. Let's kick it off. Well, first of all, it's in the name. That's one of the key things, that it grabs someone's attention. There are millions and millions of Treasury professionals all over LinkedIn. You guys see them every day. You are being searched for not by just us. You might be being searched for by other recruiters, HR directors, or the like. So as you go through, what you'll notice is you want to grab their attention. We've got the A and other. We'll come back to photos in a moment. But then it's about Treasury Manager. Now, I'm really sorry, but that's really boring. A lot of you guys might say, oh, yeah, I'm really responsible for cash or FX or whatever. Still really boring. Tell us things that stand out about yourself. Qualifications. IT2 expert we put on there. City financials. Draw together, if you like, one or two of the top things that you are and that makes you different in Treasury terms. Strategic project manager you might be. You might have, I'm looking at some of the guys that are on the screen here. As I scroll down, I'm just going we've got Craig, you've got some specific skills you talked about in the past about banking and things like that. Jim, you and I had a call the other day, had a call with Jim, and we were talking about some of his background and some of the things he's done in pharmaceuticals. Treasurer with a particular pharmaceuticals, strength. Just pull out one or two things. Yeah, it's not the sun on Sunday. You don't have to make it, well, you could make it really surreptitious, really salacious if you like. But the key thing is just to get somebody, oh, hang on, that might be of interest to us. As long as obviously it's of interest to you. If you don't want to work in pharmaceuticals anymore, then don't put it. That's one of the key things, to actually reach out and grab someone's attention. One of the key things, again, as we go through here is if you've got questions, jot them down, or put your hand up, and we'll keep a lookout for those as well. And we'll after I move through each of the sections, we'll jump into some of your questions and things like that. Your brand, and that's what it's about. That's what that headline is about. It's about saying about what other people say about you. Now, I do this a lot on the conference circuit, and I say to people, it's about what people say about when you're not in the room, and that's what Jeff Bezos said. But it's actually not just that now. It's what they say and what they think about you when you've gone from the room. So if you've talked to them about how you're really good with systems and everything else, and you walk away and there's 2 or 3 Treasury guys still talking about you at an ACT conference, they go, do you know what? That Anna, she really knows about Treasury systems. She implemented that. God, I wish we could have done that. So it's about making an impression and your brand. And people say to me, oh, Mike, I'm a Treasury professional. Do I have to do branding anymore? Well, if you don't want to do it, don't be on LinkedIn. Don't have a negative brand, which is worse than actually having, have a positive brand rather. Having a negative brand can hurt you even more. And actually some of my treasurers have said, do you know what, I don't do LinkedIn specifically for that. I recently interviewed the 100th podcast, the treasurer for Dow Chemicals. He said, Mike, I don't need another job, number one. He said, but also I want to control my own brand. And I think it gives it, he said, I'd have to work really hard to make sure it was mine and keep working at it. And he decided not to do LinkedIn, which I thought, bloody hell, nice. Okay, and then it goes on to summary. So have we got any questions so far? Anyone? Katie, can you see any questions there?
Yeah, there's
go for it.
So I've got somebody, George Wright. Hi,
Yes.
Mike, should I use finance or treasury professional in about section?
You could use both. What do you want to be known for the future? Do you want to move into more general finance role, or do you want to continue the growth of your treasury career? I think you highlight which route you want to go down. If you want to be known as, I'm going to be treasury, and then you can also pivot it at a later stage, and it doesn't have to be that day. If you're thinking actually 6 to 9 months time, I've sometimes seen it where you might have a SEMA qualified accountant or part qualified, and they need to get some, need to do treasury experience, or they need to do general finance. They've changed their stuff and it said treasury analyst seeking to move into a more general finance role. And they've done it both internally as well. They've said to the boss, look, you can't give me my full experience. I need to move. And they've said, no, you're right. So that's the way they've done it. Good answer, hope. Any others?
No
That's it.
No other question. Oh.
Well, someone's shouting, go. Is that right, George?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cool. Got to thank you, not a tomato. That's good. That's good for this time in the afternoon. Right. Guys, we'll move on to making your summary shine. Does that come up on the screen, Katie?
Yes, it does.
Excellent. God, I've nearly got hold of this technology. Making your summary shine. I'm not going to read off slides. It's a really bad habit, but I will just highlight some of the bits. Think about who's reading this. Knowing your audience. This is hitting them, targeting what they want to know, and what you want them to know about you. If you are tired of doing treasury systems and that's what you've been known about for the past 2 years, and then you spread that all across your summary, well, more for you. Because obviously people are going to go, oh, actually, do you want another treasury? Actually, I want to get away from that. Okay, so what could you do? You could write about, you've got particularly treasury system skills, but looking to leverage that, springboard that into different areas and everything else. Raw content, who am I? Your skills. Again, that's going to be targeting where you want to go to. It's your from, but also it's your to as well. So looking back at some of the stuff you've done and plucking out the hook or hooking out the pieces that that you want to do in the future. And that comes into the opener, elevator pitch. It's like I rehearsed this. The opener. And now these are, some of you guys might have actually sort of not struggled with this, but we could have explained it a bit more and things like that. But a lot of you guys often fall into the problem answer category. And these are 3 or 4 different ways of telling stories. You have you start with an anecdote and you bring in how you were, I sold it through this way, blah, 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 victory dance, exactly what you can do for them. I've implemented this, a bit more achievement oriented. This is in the summary section, bear in mind, of LinkedIn. So when you're going through this, use this to reference yourself. And again, then it comes into your elevator pitch. Go on.
Sorry, Mike, we've got a question as well on the summary bit. So, yep. Anna and excuse me if I pronounce your name wrong, Mathenge. I have a master's in public administration because I wanted to work with the government or non-profit, but I ended up in corporate America. Should I highlight that in my credentials? For example, add MPA to my title.
Do you want to work in government in the future? So don't highlight it then. What you could do is highlight perhaps the level of experience you've got. Let's say exactly what you've just told us there. But then tell us about why you made the pivot. What was it about public administration that turned you off, Anna? I can see you on the screen. So just explain maybe just there.
Right. So I understand. I really did want to go into that field. And when I'm pivoting right now, I put myself as a vendor manager or a project manager because that's what had a spark for me. Even if my most recent job was actually as a risk analyst, but I want to be a vendor manager or a project manager. And I've kind of struggled with that. Should I put MPA? Will it be misleading? And I think you just answered.
Does it help you in your new job, or would it help you in the new?
I think like right now I'm targeting pharmaceuticals, just because I'm in the Boston area and we have so many, and I have to change from the finance industry.
But would the skills from your previous qualification help you get into that?
Because I was a vendor manager and a project manager at the bank, and I worked with different vendors. And I worked with IT, even if I'm not IT. I think I can pivot to any industry and do the same thing.
So basically, you could, in that summary, you see, I've worked in You just bring out the 2 or 3 things. You've just summarised it there. They've, immediately you've had most of the people nodding. I've seen the people screen like this. But bring out, I've been a vendor manager. I've been this. So ideally, I want to move into this because I've already ticked these 3 boxes. Boom. So bring out from that what's going to be a common thing. And this is about the elevator pitch. So thank you very much segueing into that, Anna. Very, very good. But that's it. So it's when, I do an elevator pitch because if I do bump into someone quickly wants to know, oh, you're looking to recruit us. No, I'm not looking to recruit you. Are you recruiting? Yes. Okay. Yeah, then I am. But, the point is to say what we do, how we can help someone, and then get out of the elevator, not to bore them. And if they're not interested, bugger off. The call to action is, everyone said, oh, good, you're always giving out your business card. Yeah, that's my job. That's what I have to do. This is what I put here. Call to action. If you're looking for some advice, you don't have to be recruiting now, but in the future you might. Here's my card. Keep in contact, build the network, and help you and everything else. And that's one of the key things. So top tips. Anything else on the side there?
It's just whether or not we're going to share this presentation.
Yes. Yeah, we'll share this presentation. It's just a cut down actually version of what we've got online. So if you go in the bounce back section, each of these sections is, when it says tip 3, customize your URL, if you go on the website, people might say, oh, how do I do that? That's on there. So just the URL for the people who don't know it, that's at the top of your LinkedIn profile. And it might say, linkedin.com/Carl101723, nothing. You're never going to get searched on that. It's never ever going to help. If it actually, you customized it, it's very easy to do. You can go on the website and as I say, it's got quick tips there. You can customize it, Carl Treasury Manager, Carl Head of Treasury. And actually that will come up on Google. And it's about, that tiny search engine called Google, maximizing your chances of being found and for people to search for you. And it also looks a lot nicer. If you're ever doing presentations, have it like there. Mine happens to be Mike Richards, MR Treasury, because I'm Mike Richards and Mr. Treasury, and that just seemed to work. So it was nice. So have a photo, live in this dream. Oh, the number of people that don't have photos. Let's jump into that one. 21 times more likely to be viewed, 36 times more likely to receive a message. It's a networking, it's a professional networking platform. So have some photos. Don't make it with your kids. Don't have a lager in your hand. You've seen some of the jokey ones I've done. Again, you'll see them on the website. Profiles up to date, you mean business. Don't have a photo from 10 years ago. The number of times I walk into a conference and someone says, oh, I'm Bill. I'm thinking, crumbs, you've aged a lot. Do keep them up to date. Present yourself in a way you'd like to be viewed. Again, just keep them professional, fellas. and ladies. Establish your personal brand. Again, it's a start. This is what it's about. You know, TV presenters and stuff like that, they have a wardrobe for a reason. You know, they want to be known. You know, typically I wear the blue shirt just because, you know, the background, it was, yeah, because of the major IT issues, you got me in this, in the grey, quick, chuck a top on, run. And so these photos that are coming up, we'll just run through a couple of them. Appropriate photos. Yes, amazing. That's not, the selfie, just terrible. Just why would you ever do it? Like, you want to be taken seriously? Yeah, that's not the way to start, I can tell you now. The jailbird, these are remade photos, and I can tell you this now. So basically, I did put years ago, I put out a request, and people sent me some of these photos, and these are real people remade that they don't know they've been remade. And this was a guy, and we got hold of a phone just like his, just wrong on so many levels. That one, the thinker, was actually, you don't see all of the picture, that was done across a desk. It was a Russian fella, he's leaning forward like this, and actually to the side, he's about to sign a document, and we were like, you know, that's all kind of wrong. Yeah, me drinking a beer, there's nothing wrong with that, but not on LinkedIn. It shouldn't even probably be on Facebook, to be honest, because, well, there'll be too many photos. Right, what we got next? The Hottie Pose. Yeah, one of my ex-colleagues really did. And this is not a joke. This was actually the creepy Hottie Pose. That was actually a head of marketing. Yeah, and that might have worked in his industry and stuff, and, you know, and stuff. Just looked so wrong. The one that you miss out on here, which I remember to this day, is it was obviously taken at a Christmas party. There was a guy with a little, and he was turning to kiss a little figurine. Looked like a Walt Disney character on his shoulder. And you're thinking, well, why didn't we remade it? And we actually remade the picture, and eventually we still can't show it. Why? Because the guy was the head of Treasury, and has actually become the group treasurer of, he's actually changed his photo now, but I still can't go back to it, of a French tyre manufacturer. Yeah, there are a few of them, but you can probably work them out. So I'll let you do that. And we decided we just couldn't do it. And actually, I was so lucky because he was actually at the Eurofinance conference I attended, where I showed the speech. So yeah, we didn't do that one. Right, this is it. That's it. Friendly, approachable, professional. Yeah, sorry it's my face, but you can't have everything, but that's it. Any questions on that?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of questions
So
that have
why
come
do you
up
look
as
like
you've gone through. Yeah. So somebody's asked that the last corporate role they had was a head of Treasury and Capital Markets. They've since left that position and now have their own small consultancy, but they haven't updated their LinkedIn profile. And as such, the last corporate role appears to be the current one, even though it's a bit sort of sneaky. They feel that it's right for good for people who are sort of fishing for more serious roles.
Well, to keep the photo, I don't understand the question.
This is more to do with their most current role is their older role. So they've left the role that is their current role on LinkedIn. And I guess the question is that
should they update themselves straight away?
Well, yeah, should they update it because they see it that they're more likely to get more people looking at them and interested in them if they've still got their corporate role on there?
It's a tough one, really, because you're not misrepresenting yourself. But then again, when someone comes to you and says, "So are you still the head of Treasury at such and such?" No, I'm not actually. I left there 6 months ago. You know, it could be. It depends on what your reason for being on LinkedIn is. If you're on a new role, you could. I think you perhaps phrase it. You put in the summary again. You could use the summary to explain it a little bit more. Spoke to somebody else the other day. They said that they were working. They were doing their gardening leave, but they were actually in job search phase, and they were targeting roles like this. And I said, but it tells me nothing about that in your summary. And they were, well, yeah, but I'm doing this, and I think they thought it would be a negative thing. I thought it actually meant that more people would call them if they put their contact information and said, I'm more open to networking. I'm more open to discuss. Because if they're in a job, they might not necessarily, if we turn it that way, they might say, actually, I'm not going to, and they're not going to answer the phone. head of Treasury, FTSE 100, haven't got time. Whereas instead they're out of that job and they're like 3-4 months into, you know, they actually took, they took downsizing before the crisis around, you know, pandemic came along. And I said, look, we need to, and they've changed up their summary and they've already had 2 inquiries. I don't think they're right inquiries, but, you know, we can change that.
Someone's sort of written their thoughts on that in the sense of that, which is a fair point, I guess, is that the industry is relatively tiny. So there is a chance that people will know quickly and then it's going to look negative on this person. While if you set up your own consultancy, it shows your entrepreneurial spirit. If it's consultancy that's related to Treasury, then it's still very relevant.
One point that I didn't really make there as well, particularly if you've got your own consultancy, if you guys look at the banner that we've got, we probably need to update it, and you regularly do, particularly if you've got a banner, is it Picasa? Actually, we could try and find it, Pixabay. You can create your own wallpaper behind your professional photo, and if you've got your own consultancy, you could just jot down a few words there of, you know, exactly what you're covering. You know, risk management specialist, or specializes in, you know, XYZ company. You could actually explain what you're looking for. So as a company, you could, you know, try and sort of actively reach out for things, and that really works as well. And I've heard people have got that because, and put your phone number on there, because immediately, you know, you want it to get it front and center, and email address and everything else. Again, if you look on ours, we do keep ours quite up to date, but it's a really good way of doing it.
And then I think Sergey's question goes back to the URL, so you may have to say that. Do you put title keywords into the link?
Yes, you do. Well, certainly Treasury might be in there. You could be Sergey Treasury. You'll find some are done. You might, would you put Treasury Manager? It might put you at that level. So you might then have to change it later years. Instead, you might make it more generic. Treasury Specialist. Again, have a search around. There's various Google articles that will give you different ratings on it. We just tell you more how to change it, because, you know, then the search and what you search for, because, you know, I can see people on here that are everything from Treasury Assistants to Global Treasurers. You know, so, you know, it'd be up to you guys to choose what title you put on there.
And
Cool.
that's all the questions at the moment.
That section. Excellent. Become a writer. Oh God. Now, becoming a writer does not mean writing essays, does not mean putting loads of all your most recent stuff on there and going, oh my God. This means about, let's just jump around here. No, we're going to jump around. So I'm just going to zip around. Yeah. So becoming a writer, what that means is demonstrating your expertise. Now, have any of you, just in my screen, I've got Jenny, I've got Sergey, you know, I've got Carl. Any of you ever done a presentation in the past 12 months to any of your colleagues? Hands up, please. Big, quick show of hands. So you've all done a presentation. How many of you have put it onto your LinkedIn profiles? Yeah, exactly. So I've whacked this up on there, and all you need to do is, and it doesn't take long to take out some of the confidential figures. You know, and you can even say, so, you know, figures taken out for confidentiality, but you might talk about in there how you have improved systems, how you straight through processing, how you've implemented Swift in 3 to 6 to 9 months into X many countries. You've, you know, been in and out. You've, sorry, I'm showing my internet connection is unstable. So Katie, keep telling me if I'm stable now.
You did zone out for a couple of minutes.
That's just probably just me. I've zoned out anyway. Sorry, guys, the end of a long day. Be concise, but there you've got in there targeting your audience. So think about the people who are reading this. I'm searching for you. You're not looking for a job, but the ideal next job comes knocking on your door. Phone rings. Hi, I'm the HR director of such and such. I've seen your profile. Notice you're doing Swift, or you've done this great implementation. We're thinking about doing this. Maybe you've downsized the team. Maybe you've upsized the team. You know, you've merged with another company, integrated 2 teams, taken it from 2 to 7 staff, motivated them. What you did, another company sees it. You're a deputy treasurer. They say, do you know what? I want a treasury like that. Phone rings, email arrives. And again, I've seen a couple of people here I can't name, but I know that's actually happened in a couple of cases here where people have highlighted what they've done in their achievements. Be specific about it, where you took it from and to, what you've achieved, money you've saved, teams you've implemented or helped, and that helps. So, grow your connections. Why not? 500 plus connections, or 10 times your age. We try and do that. We say, look, you know, keep on doing that. How do you do that, Mike? Will a connection add value? Yes, it will. Now, there can be people you admire. You know, don't go OTT with that, but people within, you might have seen them at a Treasury conference. Make sure you get your current colleagues on there, because they will know people that want to connect with you. Former colleagues, again, maybe it's someone you'd like to work with, your new potential boss. Don't forget to connect to recruiters, only us mind. If we do see you connecting with everyone else, we will be coming after you, so don't you worry. Someone you meet at a networking event. So feel free to sort of, you go to Eurofinance, you go to an ACT conference, you think you've both got things in common, connect with them. When you connect with people, do not just reach out and connect to say, dear Jenny, we met, thanks, connect. It's the most, would you walk into a dinner party or a room and say, hello, should we connect now? So who, that, what? Remind them just briefly. A great connection, Chris, over in the US. What he does, he's better networker than I am. That takes some saying. But basically, the guy is amazing. He is now the CFO of one of the leading legal firms in the world, and does huge amounts for LGBT and the marginalized down at, so I think they do about 50% of their work with large corporations in New York, 50% with the downtrodden and underrepresented. And it's a big thing about their firm. He got headhunted for the job because he wrote some notes on the back of a card. That's all he did. What he did is every time he would meet someone, and he thought they may be good to have in his network, he would take a business card, he'd write on the back of it, just some notes, and it might be, oh, they're Houston Oilers fans, they're this, or the daughter's, graduation's coming up, and he would not send a gift, but he'd send a note, or he'd drop in an email, say, good luck with this, anything he would do to help. One day out of the blue, search firm calls him up, we'd like to search for you to come and join such and such. So they went, oh, okay, well, I'm not interested in being searched. No, you're the only person we're approaching. Is that what? I said, yeah, we've got to do it through a search firm to go hands off. He got the job. Dream job. Wasn't looking for it. And that came to him through someone he met at a networking event. His dream job. And the dog says so as well. Sorry, I heard someone's dog barking there. Anyway, someone in that same LinkedIn group you might do as well. Again, as I say, don't just go cold. Don't just click after an event and go through all your cards. Just make a couple of notes about how you met them. Met you at the ACT. We thought it would be good to have you in the conference, in my circuit. Questions so far, Katie? Anything else on there?
No, Craig just gave a bit of advice about the banners. That actually your photo in the banner appears differently depending on whether or not you're viewing on a laptop or on a phone. So you just need to sort of be mindful where you want your banner to be placed.
Not only is that great advice, great God, you can be in recruitment. Amazing. What is also more interesting, well, what is also great about that is as soon as you put your photo up, please try it on other things, because who would have believed it? People, in fact, I won't ask this question because I know the answer. Over 70% of browsing for LinkedIn is now done on mobile devices. So most of you might put up your summary on your laptop. You might upload your new photo on your laptop. Brilliant, all done, great. And then look at your photo on your phone, please. Look at it on a different device. Look on your colleague's phone. Suddenly, because some people have squashed heads or narrow heads or chopped off. You need to see it on different devices. It uploads exactly as Craig says. And that's the same with wallpapers as well. You want to make sure it's left and right and stuff like that. And LinkedIn changes things as well. And another point I was going to say there, as well as looking at that, one of our chief rivals, as we know, yes, is stupid enough not to have his photo shown. Because if you, on your privacy settings, if you want to make sure, perhaps log out as yourself, have a quick look, just check your profile as if you are just a browser, someone just looking for yourself. So just look on Google, log out, look up George Wright, look up Ira Cannon, and it will come up, sometimes it will come up with a grey circle because the privacy settings are such that it won't show your photo. He's a recruiter. He's meant to be a global recruiter, and it doesn't show his photo. Absolutely brilliant. I'm not telling him. Let's hope he doesn't watch this video. But the great bit is his photo is a grey circle. It's like, really, man, sell yourself. Anyway, that's good for him. Right. So personalise your message and feel free to interrupt at any stage, Katie, and we'll get other people shouting at me later. That was it, yeah. So personalise the reason to connect. Meet for a coffee. That was actually one of the key things as well. We perhaps didn't. I find a lot more US guys, when they connected with me at the conference, they're like, great, and when can we meet for a coffee? I'm like, whoa, 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 we've only just met, buddy. And a lot of the time I'd have just given a session. They find a lot more of the US guys. I can see a few here on the session. I love it. You know, you're like, boom. Europe, UK, we tend not to be like that. Yeah, maybe a beer, but, you know, but generally speaking, a lot of the time it's, oh, perhaps we'll catch up in the future. I see it's slower burn sort of thing. I like both, but it's just a bit, yeah, weird. Right, nurturing your network. Share content, likes, comments, update your profile, acknowledge change of status. Right. Let's just go through this. This is not too much self-love on there, but if you see good content, if you see a good study, if you see Sergey does a really good study about Swift and he posts it on his profile and you happen to be connected to him and he happens to post it in his feed, he's updated this, tell people. Just take the link, share the content, share it in groups. Why? Because if you're a good sharer, the LinkedIn algorithm shows you more in the feed. Well, Mike, I'm not that bothered. Well, don't you want new opportunities? Don't you want more money? Do you want a better job? Okay, so if it's you. Likes and comments. Likes don't do that much. They don't heighten you in the algorithm. They do a tiny, tiny bit. I listen each week to Mark Williams, LinkedIn, Mr. LinkedIn, brilliant guy. Comments do. If you see something that's good, comment on it. Not just, oh, great, yeah, great post. Great post, why? You know, or maybe make a question if there's something you're interested in. Don't go OTT. But, you know, do make a comment and say, oh, like this, can I just ask why you guys did this? You know, seek to, if it's of interest, you know, not just in a facile way. Updating your profile on a regular basis, every 3 to 6 months, just have a quick review. Just, you know, your title might have changed, location, phone number, just have a quick look through. Acknowledge change of status. Someone moves jobs. Again, if you just click, you like it, doesn't really do very much. If you make a bit more of a comment, congrats on the new role, love to celebrate it and stuff like that, that moves you higher up in the algorithm. So we're still at 5:34, so I don't want to take up too much time, everyone. So be a groupie. No, not like that, Ira. I'm watching you on this. It's my colleague, so don't worry. Right, being a groupie. LinkedIn groups are the most abused, little-known area of LinkedIn anymore. They used to be massive. We still have a LinkedIn group, 3,500. We do share our posts, we share podcasts, we share information like this, we share the bounce back group. We try and keep it going and try and be a positive area. It shows on your screen there, and again, you'll be able to see this on our website about where to go. So at the top, it says here, you join relevant groups. Search Treasury, search US Treasury, UK Treasury, wherever you might be interested. And sometimes there's some good news for us. Some of them are just, you know, the death of Treasury and Treasury news. Ours isn't. We try to keep ours quite up to date. So it's a good place to go and join. Anything else would you say about groups, Katie? Any good ones you've seen?
I think, as you said, I think if you Google Treasury and sort of the kind of key topics that you find in people's posts, there's quite a lot that you can that you can find that are going to be quite helpful going forward. And also, it's a good way of elevating those connections and that networking piece as well. another way of finding new people.
Yeah, and like-minded people, you see they're in the same
Yeah.
group as well. So it does, yeah, again, the algorithm will then, or you might connect to this person as well. Okay, coming to the end, recommendations. Now, I did do this a little bit last week about, do recommendations work? I did the bit with Amazon. They do, basically. Yeah, the dog, even the dog agrees. Whoever that dog is, that's awesome.
Sorry.
Is that your dog, Aira?
Yeah, she's under the desk.
Absolutely fantastic, because every time it's like I'm doing it, and like I've got like
doing it in the right places.
yeah, I don't know. That's a bonus coming. Well done, Canon. But joking aside, for recommendations, yeah, they do work. I've even been asked by, which was a bit weird this morning, by my professional coach, where I did a year's worth of training actually under my podcaster called Chris Ducker, who does about entrepreneurs and about how to grow your business. Really well known, globally known, speaks at social media world, does all that social media stuff about how we embrace social media. He reached out to me today and saying, could I recommend him? I'm like, yeah, of course I can. Like, he's a globally known dude. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And he was an amazing coach for a year, coached 12 of us, 2 or 3 of the other guys. One of the ladies, she's got an award-winning podcast. I'll get some awards one day, maybe just from you guys, accolades. But basically, she's written a book. She's got everything else. And she was, coached under him. He's asked for a recommendation. And then one begets the other. So one person sees this and stuff like that, and people believe them. And that's a key thing, and you'd be surprised. So how much that does. Ask for recommendations to do that. We know about the right way. What you can also do with recommendations when you are doing that is perhaps give people a bit of a leader to it as well. So it might be, when I've sent out, say, look, when we work together at such and such, I'm looking maybe for, what it was like to work together, or, say that was their first time as a team leader. Could you recommend what it was like as a team lead and stuff like that? Things like that. Right. Katie, what other comments would you say?
So just going back about UK people don't generally ask to meet. Matt's just sort of made a good point to say, even though we tend not to ask to meet for a coffee, people are generally willing in the UK when you do want to connect with them. And then I've got a question about how volunteering is seen. So Jocelyn is an ambassador for a charity. Is it okay to share it on her profile?
I would try and highlight it. I would try and get their logo on there. I would try and push it up as far as possible into your summary. Chris, great example, we talked about earlier on in the show. He actually, again, one of the other reasons they connected with him was he gave to wherever he was the group treasurer of this legal firm that he was in before he was approached to be the CFO of this other legal firm. And one of the key things he did was he gave his time to this sort of project. And he said, oh, well, I only gave it for like a year and a half to women in danger or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, right. But he said, oh yeah, I put it on my my profile, and yeah, and they absolutely loved it. And I was like, why did you do it? He just said, well, it's just something I believed in, and stuff like that. I said, well, that's what people, and then you're working with a company that you believe in, and actually that shared his self-beliefs as well. So yeah, push it up, and you don't want to just do it for the sake of, oh, I'm with this charity, da, da, da. But actually, if it's something you're passionate about, you can then explain about it. You can then have a greater connection to that work as well, I would say.
And then Julie has asked...
Oh, there's always a question from Fabrice, isn't it?
Skills and endorsements, can you have too many? I think that's a tricky one, because people endorse you. Who don't know you.
Right, so the story with skills and endorsements is a rip-off. Basically, a few years ago, and it was purported, and it's been semi-confirmed, that LinkedIn were going to build a recruitment database. And what they were going to do is get everybody in the world to endorse everyone for their skills and endorsements. So you lot were going to create LinkedIn's own recruitment database to go against Salesforce. So if you said, yeah, George, Carl, Jenny, you know, Sagita, that, you know, they're really good at cash management, and these guys are really good at FX, and these guys so the more that you got there, the higher it was going to rank you when you're looking for people like that. And actually what they did is they realized, well, this is a massive task, and although they are in recruitment advertising, they're actually not in recruitment per se. So actually that's why skills and endorsements, there's been talk about them removing it for years. I don't endorse anyone. I don't have it on mine. Or if I do, I think I have it switched off most of the time, because I think it's far more powerful when you say it with real words rather than, yeah, Mike's really good at boot polishing. Yeah, really? You know, get over it. You know, a lot of them are just so generalistic. They're just crap. Yeah. Does that answer it?
Yeah. And there's no other questions unless anybody's got any final ones.
Any final ones? No. Okay. So, yeah, they're all tired. It's a long Thursday, I know. Yeah, still lockdown. We're nearly out, people. Right. So next week we move on to, well, Katie, you'll lead it a little bit. Well, we'll do it joint-handedly. Next week is about interviews. And people on the call might say, well, hang on, I'm not going for an interview now. Well, that might be right. You might not be going for an interview. However, you might be asked to interview someone. You might also be, it's also about interview and meetings. Perhaps we should call it like that as well, because we talk about some of the, you know, we're all here on Zoom calls, you know, and we're thinking about backgrounds. We're thinking, oh, how should we dress? Oh, we're thinking about this. Well, funnily enough, I'm sure all of you have had in this past 10 weeks at least one interview with a boss, colleague, some of the other things you need to think about. We've all seen some of the funnies as well, where people are in their pajamas and rushing off and everything else. Well, that's what we explore a little bit as well over the next couple of weeks or next week's show. So, yeah, we'll just go into that. Should be good before the final week, which is search strategy, about not only just using people like ourselves, but, you know, in general, you know, what you might do for your Treasury recruitment career. Wow. Is that enough from everyone?
Yeah.
Everyone desperate for a beer now? That's it. Cool. So we'll stop the share. Yay.
Yay.
Right. Love you all.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Right, guys, have a good
Bye.
one.
See you next
Cheers.
week.
Thank you.